Wanawake wote hongera, wanawake wote hongera. What happened is I was approached by someone from the Dutch embassy as well as SNV, Tanzania, to organize or to assist them to organize a review session in preparation for Beijing, where they intended to bring together NGOs, women rights and gender NGOs from Tanzania to discuss together and prepare, sort of have a common agenda for going to Beijing. And I thought that's a great idea, but that it can't be one person organizing. I suggested to them it would be great to have a committee, fellow facilitators. Rather, I said a group of people, fellow facilitators, who also share the same outlook on gender, so that we can do this together. And by then, we had already been working together on other projects, several of us, involving animation or rugby, or participatory action approaches in meetings, but also research, organizing, and so on. And that was agreeable, and we ended up with a group of about 9 facilitators, all of whom became the founder members of TGMP.
During those days, I was a member of Institute of Development Studies Women's Study Group. And when we started the preparation for Beijing, during those days, we decided to form a coalition of all women rights activists and stakeholders. And for that matter, Tanzania Association of NGOs, Tango, was mandated to organize that coalition. I was appointed to be organizing secretary for the preparation of Beijing.
Specifically, Beijing process was here when I was already a feminist activist, because I have started my involvement in the late 70s. Beijing process is coming when I've been engaged in the feminist activist movement, although it wasn't that strong in the country. And specifically during our preparations, I was in UNICEF country office as a program officer, gender focal point. So I was head of program decentralization and capacity development, also taking the responsibility of gender focal point.
When actually the country was preparing, I was actually working with the Netherlands Embassy. And in that capacity, when the decisions around Beijing came, I became one of the key actors in its preparations, because the embassy was actually supporting and enabling the preparations process itself, which meant organizing. For me, it was more organizing funding that was going out for the NGOs, women rights organizations. And to me, that was one of the main job ahead then, until we went to Beijing and came back.
But at that time, I was an ambassador or high commissioner to New Delhi, India, representing Tanzania. I moved to New York and started the preparations. First of all, I participated in Beijing as a woman. Then I participated in the World Conference. And I participated in Beijing as an African woman. So all this gave me an opportunity. Every time I revisit the work I did, I find that it was really one of the most important undertaking in my life.
I wasn't a member of TGMP, which was coordinating the CSOs, but I was part and parcel of the total process of preparations, because TGMP started. They used to have some seminars. They used to analyze the situation of women. And being a political scientist, I was normally invited to provide either technical support or share my views on the analysis of situation of women. I was appointed to be the country facilitator in Tanzania, meaning I was going to sort of coordinate government processes and CSO processes so that when we come out with our issues, we don't differ.
Beijing really put on the agenda the plight of the African girl child. Before then, it hadn't been in the documents or ilikuwa haizungumzwi.
We participated. There were a lot of activities in Huairu. So there are some we participated as a nation, Tanzania. Others we participated as East African subcontinent, and others we participated like Africa, African African continent, but others we participated as thematic, because like myself, my area was more on peace and security as far as women are concerned. So whenever there is now a convening of thematic discussion, we go and participate. You look where the issues are being organized, we participate there, and then that is how we participated in Beijing.
We have more that unites women all over the world than what divides them. You take the issue of domestic chores, for example. The women in developing countries, while they are the dishwasher to wash the dishes, I'm looking in the third world for the water to wash the dishes. So the difference is the methodology, but we are all washing dishes. So for me, I kept on saying the women agenda should be addressed as a developmental issue rather than dividing the women in groups of developed and developing. It doesn't make sense.
So what we used to do was, for us who are accredited to go to the government, we would come with the issues from the NGO forum and then discuss them and then go and input into in the government. So I can say we also participated in that, because every morning we would go very, very early in the morning discussing with we input. And then we go to the meeting and we input what we wanted until the document came to be.
From that conference, the only thing that I came back with, and I was glad I was there, was the fact that CEDAW actually was a very big gift to the women of the world, because it talks about women's dignity. And we talked how it is very important for the women themselves, first, to realize that they have dignity to take care of, but also the community they live in, the government, parliamentarians need to know about that dignity, and that they have to monitor and know that women must have dignity in order for any nation to proceed and to develop.
So the revolution has begun. There's no going back. That has been my slogan since I left Beijing. If you want to succeed, then everybody should take a portion of what to do in order to accomplish the decisions made in Beijing.
Yeah, and I would like to call myself a Beijing woman. And I did not mind when people are saying, the men were calling us, you are Beijing, you are a Beijing woman. I say, yeah, actually I am. I was proud, and I'm still proud of being part of this whole process of the agenda, but also implementing it to date.
You know, rights are not given. Rights are demanded and rights are claimed. And I think that is where strengthening women's movement comes in. Unless we demand and impress upon the ruling government, it's their responsibility. We are not begging, we are demanding that women participate effectively as citizens, as owners of the national resources, and also as free citizens from violence. If we go individually, we won't be able to. But if we have realized the power of collective voice. I think that is one recommendation that we still need to strengthen women's movements at national level, regional level, and at Pan-African level, and globally.
So when we came back, we were very energetic in terms of the women's movement, and we made things happen. We impacted a lot of laws, especially about the girl child. We really worked on that, and our minister then was also very committed to this at the government level. In terms of the platform as a whole, Mimi, I personally feel the platform, the agenda of the platform, we need continuously to work on it.
I exchanged a lot of ideas with other women from third world, but also from the first world, but also inspired me to realize that a lot of things that a nation can have is to first start with the youngsters at the very early age. If you want a nation to be a good nation, you have to start where the kids are.
But another aspect, I think, is the question of mentorship. You see, I think mentorship is very important because we are now old. But they say old is gold. You have the Bongeras, Mama Bongera. We have Mama Anna Dala. We have now you have the first speaker. You say Mama Anna Makina, and now we have a speaker also. And we have other women, in different fields. We could mentor also. You see, could mentor these girls and into that these girls and these boys and so on and so forth. So I would think that there is a need to have certain program for the mentorship. But
TGMP is more than Beijing, but when I went back to look at what we were doing, I had to appreciate the fact it did provide us with an amazing opportunity. Because it made uwezo to share this information about Beijing, to bring people together. And afterwards, those people came together. They thought they belonged to what became TGMP. And so we reached out to them. Some became members of FEME, if they were especially local organizations in Dar es Salaam. Others became very much a part of it. Ever since those first workshops, they've become very much a part of our annual or biannual gender festival. And so we began as a networking organization. That's our name, Tanzania Gender Networking Program. That's how we were. We were networking and information sharing, and then having a critical point of view. It came from the conceptual framework. So it's fair to say that Beijing was a wonderful opportunity.
For me, I still go for the power of convening and sticking to the agenda. Changing strategies, yes, but maintaining the convening so that left, right, and center, the song is the same. Left, right, and center, the song is the same. You talk, if you're in social media, you speak about the same thing. When you are in conferences, you speak about the same thing. The change might be only maybe strategies and the method of delivery, but the message is the same.
We should follow all the issues because sometimes when we have achieved something, we just forget to go on and ensure that we don't lose it. And this can be done, especially during the big celebrations we have, like we have in February, the anti-zero tolerance to FGM, is to ensure that we follow that through every year.
Now, who is the president who is a woman? What am I doing to use that opportunity and support the work of a woman president?
Wanawake wote